Hey, welcome to Red River Podcast. It's just three of us.
Hey, oh,
Yeah, we're still
Back to the roots.
back to the roots. We're gonna wait on Anthony Hickox. You know, he was nice enough to say that he would do it again, but then again, he disappeared. So maybe he was just like, you know what, fuck this guy. The Sergey episode was fun. Last one, you know, I did that one by myself. So I figured, every now and then, I don't know about your significant others, but like I'll watch something and, my girlfriend will be like, are you really going to watch this again? Like some things are just like complete comfort. And I get that they're not even terrible, but not like universally loved. Like it's just like a movie where I could watch over and over again, even though I know it's fucking ridiculous. So I wanted to kind of like get together and talk about 5 movies a piece that we, it's almost like we're going to put them in court and explain to each other why we love this and why we should watch it.
Sure. And I know, we probably, all the movies we're going to mention, like, we're probably like all love those movies. But like my criteria was like, if I just played this for some normie or like was having a family gathering and they were like, hey, let's watch a movie. Let's see what's on Netflix. I'm like, oh, I got a movie. Like I would never play this movie for them, but I know it's awesome, And we took out the guilty pleasure of it because I'm sure none of us have any guilt.
I have no guilt. I'm sure Parker owns everything he's about to mention.
It got hard because I had, like I said, I took 5 movies and I showed them to my wife and she was just like, but everybody knows these movies. Like that's not what you're getting at. So I said, oh, okay. So then I brought up 5 other movies from the basement. She goes, now you got it right. Cause I don't know what the fuck any of these movies are.
Shout out to Sarah. Because anytime I mention this topic on Facebook, like people were just mentioning like The Warriors or so, and I'm thinking like,
which is funny because that was one of my original one because that's in my top 10. So I was going to cut my top 10 of all time in half, and Warriors was going to be one of them.
Everyone knows the Warriors.
I know,
and everyone loves the Warriors.
But now I have so many that I have about 20 movies in a bag next to me, and I'm just going to rip them out randomly because whatever we don't use, I'll save for the next couple.
I think maybe we could even do like a recurring thing where it's like we're basically picking 5 movies that we love that we feel don't get enough shine. So
some of them fall into, well, for me anyway, it's so bad it's good. Because that line that you cross, it becomes like there's sometimes a movie's just bad and the joke's on you for watching it, but sometimes it crosses that line where it becomes something truly special.
Yeah,
that you couldn't. I think it's 90 accidental magic.
I think 90% of these were like middle of the night HBO during the summer of like mid 80s. Sure. So
yeah. HBO was super. Like in retrospect now, back then maybe we took it for granted, but HBO was responsible for me watching a ton of shit that was amazing. It was just completely like that guy. We were talking about Anthony Hickox. His HBO movie, Parker, right? Full Eclipse.
Great movie. I mean, like a total different take on vampires, which is why I loved it. And and that's what it was. It was an HBO video. I think HBO actually might have even released that movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was might have been like one of the first things for sure. So, but all right, cool. So because it's same thing for me. And I'm actually going to include a movie that I watched last night for the first time. Because I'm just gonna mention it real quick here. I've never seen Cherry Falls. This isn't on my list, obviously. I just watched it. But anybody ever watched Cherry Falls?
I think I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember much about it though.
No.
Yeah, Shudder added it. It's Brittany Murphy and Jay Moore and Michael Biehn.
Oh, nice.
Like anything he's in, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, if he's in it, it's gotta be, I'll fuck with it.
Now, better question. Did he survive in it? Because he dies 99% of the time.
No comment on that.
Okay.
For anyone that wants to watch it, but it was just really good. They added it onto Shudder, and I feel like that movie in particular would be on someone's list. Like it's a movie like that where it's like I never thought of it, but it's a slasher movie. It's R-rated. It's mean-spirited, and it's the flip the flip of it is cool because the killer only kills virgins. You know, so like everyone in town is like trying to just hook up so they don't get killed. And I thought that was kind of like a cool twist.
That is cool.
I remember that now.
Yeah. It was pretty good. And then it was the hook, and then there's like a nice twist to it, and it's up on Shudder now. Very good. So let's kick it off. Langan, give me one of your 5.
I mean, I was scaling down from a long list, but somebody mentioned it in the Facebook post, so I kind of running with Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I talk about watching it, a million times, played on TV as a youth. It's not a film, like, does it hold up if you showed it to somebody that never saw it? I doubt it. The effects are cheesy. The dubbing on the main actor, it's atrocious. But I mean, it's one of the coolest looking movies, I think. Like, way underrated. The cinematography in it, the colors pop on it, the reds, the golds, like the sky scene behind. Because I was all about the Hawkman. I was all about that Hawkman life. As a kid, they were my favorite characters in it. It had, I thought Max von Sydow as Ming was great, and don't get me started on Ornella Moody. She was the finest.
Still is.
Princess Leia in the Jabba the Hutt suit got nothing on Ornella Moody, who actually I read was originally going to be Debbie Harry.
Oh wow,
possibly going to be
that would have been interesting.
I never heard that before, but she was so fun. But yeah, it's one of a kind of movie. It's supposed to look like it's out of like a comic strip kind of thing, and it does that. And it actually, and I got to shout out some childhood trauma, because I always those soldiers that Ming had with the red faces kind of bother me a little bit. And when that one dude like melts, that like black blood, that Skeletor looking motherfucker. That kind of freaked me out as a youngin'. But I could watch that movie any fucking time, man.
Yeah, that movie is fucking awesome. I grew up with that, and just like that soundtrack. And
soundtrack rocks.
That's something you could watch all the time. I throw that in there with like Clash of the Titans.
Oh yeah.
Like something that's so dated. But it doesn't even matter. You watching it, because I know HBO Max just added Clash of the Titans. Shout out to Harry Hamlin. And it's just fucking, it looks ridiculous, but it's so perfect. Like, we're so like, our brain is so connected to the way that movie looks that it would be different if it like the remake. Like, I didn't even bother.
It was atrocious.
I didn't even want.
I watched it out of morbid curiosity. I knew, but it takes all the charm out of the was that Harryhausen like kind of effects, that just had a charm to it, as cheesy as they could look, like Jason and the Argonauts or whatever. There's something really cool about it, and it couldn't be remade.
Could you think
Flash Gordon couldn't be either?
But they would. It's impossible to remake Flash Gordon, which doesn't mean that they won't. They probably will eventually. But it's just like, it would look like a video game as usual. So,
but you polish it up too much, it loses that charm, man.
That thing, so it's a good one. Flash Gordon. Parker.
All right, man. So I reached into the bag, and I think we have a bit of
Boardwalk Empire.
No. But I think we have like something very weird happening here, because I'm going to go with Dreamscape, which also starred Max von Sydow.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I think we got a little something going on here. So this movie, this was definitely an HBO like summertime movie, and Dennis Quaid. I mean, who still doesn't love fucking Dennis Quaid movies? And Kate Capshaw is probably the hottest out of all of her movies. This and Space Camp, I'll go with. And pretty much what this is about, if nobody knows, it's obviously about dreams, but they're trying to get somebody to pretty much go in and kill the president in his dreams. So Dennis Quaid, hooks up with Max Von, and tells him, since he's, got all these skills, how he needs to go in there and protect the president. And, the main one of the main bad guys from the Warriors. Funny enough, we were just talking about the Warriors. Is in it. Leader of the Rogues. I forget the guy's name, but he's in like a million movies. And he plays the villain, and he plays this. His big thing was he turns into this snake character that I remember when I was a little kid, probably 7 or 8 years old. He used to scare the shit out of me, and that was kind of like his. I don't want to use like a Mortal Kombat term, but like a fatality. Like he would always turn into the fucking snake and then kill somebody. But definitely a trippy movie. I mean, I did watch this pretty recently, and very gritty looking, and yeah. Christopher Plummer. Oh, she's never even seen it. Probably never even heard of it. Never even heard of it. So,
all right, so good. This is a perfect movie.
Yeah, so that's a good kickoff. So
for me, it's funny. I've never seen Dreamscape.
Yeah, that's a good movie. It's a good. I think it might
movie.
It might be on Tubi actually right now. Check Tubi. I think it's up there.
Yeah. I think
everything we're mentioning tonight might be on Tubi.
It might be.
Yeah. My movie is the movie that kind of started the idea for me. It's Wishmaster from '97.
All right, nice.
Robert Kurtzman directed it. That dude is the shit. I ignored this movie when it came out in theaters, and once it started getting like maybe like 10 years after the fact, I watched it, and that whole intro is so ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I love that intro. It's just so gory, and it's how the djinn gets trapped into this medallion or something that he's stuck in. But it's just so ridiculously gory, and every time, even if I put it on for like 30 minutes, like the beginning is like the money shot for me. And I just love anytime you get these ridiculous like situations or kills like Saw or something like that. And I think this movie is very slept on because I did. It was produced by Wes Craven, and my wish list. Speaking of Wishmaster, Andrew Divoff, man, I would love to get him on the show. I'll just keep emailing him so we could talk Wishmaster and Toy Soldiers for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's a bunch of like cameos in this too. I think Kane Hodder's in it. A lot of good stuff, man. I think 1 and 2 are really underrated, very watchable. 3 and 4 are, you can't even, I defy anyone listening to watch 3 and 4 because you can't you can't sit through them. So, but if
how
you
did Wishmaster do? And was that, I don't even remember seeing it. I don't know if
it did good
at the box office.
Yeah,
did it?
Yeah. So the budget was $5 million and the box office was 15.7.
Okay.
So that's why they made a second one, which I don't even know if the second one might have been just straight to
was Wes Craven still associated with it?
Yeah,
at that point?
Wes Craven produced it. It has so basically it has Divoff, it has Kane Hodder, it has Tony Todd, Robert Englund, narrated by Angus Scrimm.
All-star list.
Narrated by Angus Scrimm, music by Harry Manfredini.
Nice.
So yeah, you can see why a lot of people were into this. So if anyone's never seen it, it's just a really fun, gory movie where this djinn, you basically watch what you wish for, because he'll flip it around on you. So Wishmaster I could watch anytime it's on. So Langan, give me something.
All right, these aren't like a top 5 list.
I'm just
selections.
I'm rattling. Yeah,
they all hold a special place to my heart here, but I'm gonna go with 1981's National Lampoon Student Bodies.
Oh wow.
Never saw it.
You never saw it?
Oh no, wait, I did see it. I'm sorry. Student Bodies with the killer.
Yeah.
Yes.
The breather.
Yes.
That movie did it's kind of, it's not one of the big National Lampoon releases, obviously, like The Vacations or Animal House and things like that. And it was made, I see, because if you go, it's one of those movies you go on the IMDb page and nobody has like a picture. next to their name.
Yeah.
Which is right in my wheelhouse. I mean, a couple of people do, but anyway, but they made it during an actor strike, so that's why everybody's kind of unknown. And it wasn't, it kind of became a cult classic. I don't even know if it's available on DVD. I bought like a knockoff copy at a horror convention, but it's a very early horror comedy parodying the horror genre. And like I said, 1981, and it's very much in the vein of the Zucker brothers or an Airplane, or just a gag, a naked gun, just lots of gags, lots of throwaway lines, this and that. The weird cast, this guy Malbert, who's played by somebody named the Stick, is the most bizarre looking individual maybe I ever captured on celluloid. And it's just one of these cult movies that if people seen it, they love it. Like, I think I saw Mike Randall like comment something about Horsehead Bookends once, and I'm like, if you know Horsehead Bookends, like you're my friend, you're my homie right there.
Yeah,
because like I could quote this movie, and it's not a lot of people seen it. It's been up. It's worth a look.
Yeah, it's been streaming. I feel like maybe like Showtime or something like that had it up.
Oh, really?
As well as Cutting Class with Brad Pitt's up on.
Oh,
Showtime
nice.
As well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Parker.
But it's a good one.
All right, man. So I'm glad that I pulled this one. So let's get into some drugs, maybe a little P2P we're gonna talk about.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. P2P.
So Stone Cold. Brian Bosworth. I mean, guy he was a pro football player. Unfortunately, he left to become a very bad actor. But I mean, this movie is fucking great. So he's I forget.
Did he leave football to become an actor?
I believe he left. Like,
he probably got hurt. Those guys. Those guys probably. It's like
once Bo Jackson showed his ass up that one time, I remember Bo Jackson jacked him up. But anyway.
But I mean, let's talk about this cast. I mean, Lance Henriksen. I mean, William Forsythe, who I could probably watch in any fucking
anything.
movie.
Yeah.
I mean, so this guy joins this biker gang to go, undercover, expose them with drugs and everything else. And then they're trying to kill politicians. But I mean, this fucking movie literally was on, like, I feel like every day on HBO, and I probably watched it every day that it was on HBO. And then I finally found it on DVD, and I'm still watching it. Not every day, but maybe like every day.
I got to give a shout out to the mullets in that movie. They were like that. The collection of mullets in that movie was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I at least once in my life probably tried to mimic the protein shake that he made.
Yeah,
in the morning.
Yeah, pretty gross.
I didn't have the dragon in the kitchen though. But But this is a good one. I mean, a lot of action, a lot of explosions. Kind of not that much nudity. We got to work on that. A little more nudity next time. But cast was great. Great cast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Who would you say is better? The Boz in Stone Cold or Dennis Rodman in Double Team? Who's the better athlete?
Come on.
I gotta go Bosworth, man.
Yo, have you, I mean, one day, if we figure it out, like Simon Says, like, so he did what? He did what he did what movie did he do with that guy Van Damme? Well, what was the movie?
Double Team.
Double Team. Okay, Double Team. So no, what was the one where Van Damme was a twin? Double Impact.
That's Double Impact.
Right.
That's my favorite Van Damme movie.
Outstanding. Right. Also,
that's a great movie.
Double Team is so fucking bad. It's got Mickey Rourke, right, with a tiger. But then that movie got Rodman into Simon Says, which is his lead. He's the lead in that. And have you ever seen it?
No.
Simon Says no.
All right, I'm gonna send you guys links. It's probably up on Tubi, and I don't know. Maybe one day we'll do an episode on Simon Says because it's unbelievably bad. It's so bad. But
Dane Cook is in it.
It got a lot of It got a lot of he might have been the sidekick, but it got like a lot of push. It was like a big release and stuff. So, but definitely we're gonna go Bosworth on that one.
Yeah, I was hearing the Oscar buzz for Rodman.
Maybe in North Korea, not here. All right, so my pick is a movie that we did a deep dive on, Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Nice.
You know, same thing. It's just like this movie came out in 1990, directed by Rennie Harlan, who later on goes and does like Die Hard 2 and a few other action movies, which is amazing. Oh, he did Nightmare on Elm Street 4 as well. Which is like, yeah, like what an interesting like collection and stuff. But this is a movie that's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking dumb, but it's so great. Like I could watch it. I could just watch it all the time. The music, like when Dice is like in the studio and he's like shitting on that guy, you know, he's like, this guy's got no, you know, he's like, and then he does a song. Just the whole cast. Once again, another Robert Englund pick, but everything about this movie got panned, you know, and everyone hated it, and it was a complete bomb. But if you watch it now, there's just it's a lot of fun. Vince Neil definitely ODing. Gilbert Gottfried was supposed to play, you know, it had the Howard Stern role, but Stern didn't do it. Just fucking great. Really good stuff.
It is great. It's one of those movies, if you came up in that, you know, in that Dice era where Dice was king, you know, you could watch it. But if you weren't about that shit or you're younger and don't know that, I don't know. If I had get there.
If I had to definitely push it on someone who does not understand, you know, but like also like Ed O'Neill, come on, booty time. Booty time. Yeah, this is a killer movie, and one of those movies that I know is probably terrible, but I could watch all the time. So, Langen.
All right, this one's a little bit of a deep cut. It's a German film called Primortos.
Oh yeah.
Lord of the Living Dead, or The Fallen Angel. It's got a couple of names. Yes, it's 1997 it came out. It's I'm not going to try to break down the plot for you because it's completely nonsensical. It jumps from the past to the present. At one point, we're in Jesus's crucifixion scene somehow. It gets compared to Peter Jackson's Dead Alive a lot because of the gore.
The gore, yeah.
And there's 139 kills in this movie. 139, and they are head explosions, they are decapitations, they are guts, it's completely insane. If you're a gore hound, it's a must-see movie. And then the real beauty of this film is I normally don't watch dubbed films. I like to watch the original language or whatever. The dubbing on this movie is it's the worst I've ever seen. It's literally, say you have a cast of maybe 20 people or characters. I think it's all done by 4 people or 3 people, just like sort of changing their voices and like their pitch. Guys, girls, they have no thought put into it whatsoever. It's ridiculous how badly dubbed it is.
I have the DVD.
That kind of makes it. Yeah, you have to have the DVD because it definitely is not streaming anywhere. Unless you know, a torrent or whatever, you had something like that. But as far as the major streaming services, nobody has this fucking movie.
I'll give another shout out to our buddy that you mentioned, Mike Randall, because he actually had a copy of it. So years ago, he let me. He's like, "Here, you could take this copy," and I watched it, and I was like, "This is ridiculous!" Like it's a spectacle to watch for sure.
It's insane. I got my copy from 112 Video.
Nice.
And rest in peace. And, it's just ridiculous. Like, if you haven't seen it and you like gory movies and bad movies, it's a must see. It's a home run.
Yeah, if you can get your hand on it for sure. And shout out to Pirate Bay too. Rest in peace.
Yes.
Pirate Bay was the shit for like a year or two for sure.
It's still around.
I didn't even know. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I read something on Reddit that like, I don't know, it was Disney or one of the big places were trying to come down on them or whatever, and they're like, you know, we're in Sweden, we don't have to like
you know,
answer to your lawsuits or something like that.
yeah, it's amazing, but like back then it made sense. Now it's like you know, before you were getting mixes, so it's like, okay, well now you have Spotify, and it's like, okay, well we were looking for movies that you couldn't find, but now it's like, all right, now you have like Shudder and like movies on YouTube. Like I just feel like it's almost obsolete now because you like there's an app where you could find anything now, so it doesn't really matter.
Definitely. I go to my services first before I jump through all the hoops I used to and stuff like that. But every now and then I'm still looking for a couple of choice cuts that nobody's streaming.
Yeah, yeah.
Tubi wouldn't even touch it. This is one of them, the one I just mentioned.
This is one of those movies for sure. So Parker, reach into that sack.
All right. This is another good one, man. So we're going to be talking about hunting on this one, except we're going to be talking about hunting humans and surviving the game.
Yes.
So this is another good one. So Ice-T, Rutger Hauer, Gary Busey, I mean, F. Murray Abram, the fucking list just goes on and on. John C. McGinley, one of the Bobs from Office Space. So Ice-T is he's a homeless man, and actually, The Rock, Charles S. Dutton, finds him at like a soup kitchen.
The original Rock.
I'm sorry, yes,
right.
not Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yes. And so he sees him at this soup kitchen and brings him to Rutger Hauer's house and blah blah blah. I'll pay you. I think it was like $20 if you could last on this treadmill for like 30 minutes or something, and does this whole physical thing. And then he takes him on this trip, you know, and he thinks that he's going to be hunting deer or whatever. Ice-T just probably thought he was going to be like helping them carry the guns or load the vehicles or whatever. And the next thing he knows, he's the one that's being hunted. And what a fucking great movie. I mean, Gary Busey, crazy as ever. Rutger Hauer is pretty much the ringleader, just, you know, getting everybody fired up to go after this guy. And just a good one, man. Definitely a childhood one.
I love this because anytime you have a premise like this, it's like a fear in certain people's heads, you know. It's like to be hunted by other people, because you had Avenging Force with Michael Dudikoff, which was kind of like, that's what they were doing. Hard Target with Van Damme, which was kind of like the same thing. And then this one came along in like 94, I believe. I think I keep scrolling by this. I feel like it's up on Hulu now. I keep like scrolling by it. But yeah, that's a good one for sure. But it's there's always going to be something about that where you're hunting someone. Same thing with, like, I guess The Purge sometimes. That movie Hunt, right? That was another.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. So okay, so my pick is a movie that I fucking love, and it's called Maximum Overdrive.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's so ridiculous. But it doesn't even matter. Like, when I don't know what to watch, this is something that you just scroll by, and I'm like, oh, I'll watch 40 minutes of this or something. You know, it's like
sure.
What is it, like a comet or something, like, you know?
Yep. The radiation.
Yeah. So like all these appliances start to come to life, and they start killing people. And of course, everyone remembers, like, the beginning is pretty brutal. It's pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You know, the steamroller, the soda cans, and we've mentioned this before, I think, but like for years, I would always think of the Coke machine and remember that scene, because I would always think about how bad it would hurt to get a fucking can of Coke like lobbed at you. And it was like, it was in my head.
You still stand to the side of the machine when you put your dollar in.
Totally. Yeah, I'm like, this machine ain't getting me if it comes to life. And you know, also, you know, growing up a young Hispanic kid over here in New York, we didn't really have names, you know, starring in movies. And, you know, I'm sure Emilio's like, you know, a quarter, whatever the fuck they were. But like, you see Emilio Estevez, and like, I would love his movies because I would just see his name and I'm like, oh yeah, he's one of us.
Nice.
You know, we claimed him. So like, I would always, anything he was in, I would watch. And there was something very iconic about the truck. You know, the truck with the, you know, like the jester face, you know, it was just just great. But in retrospect, like if I was sitting here with my girlfriend or anyone else, and they've never seen the movie, I think they would be like, "This is fucking stupid."
And like Flash Gordon, you got a band scoring the.
Yep.
You got
Yeah.
AC/DC
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
extra to boot.
I know I love this movie. I will go to bat for it. And just recently, I watched Misery, which is another King movie, and then Pet Sematary, and those two are so classic and phenomenal movies that still hold up. And this just holds up for a different reason. It's just fucking so batshit crazy. You're like, yeah, this movie, and the only movie he ever directed, and supposedly he said he was on lots of cocaine, and he hates it. So shout out to him. So, all right, Langan, give me. That was my third. So give me your fourth.
I got from 1985, the One Man Army Bronson. I got Death Wish Part 3.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
it's by far my favorite of the Death Wishes because it's Death Wish 1. As ridiculous as they all can be, it could be a believable story. I'll even give you 2. Part 3 steers right into the curve of complete like batshit insanity. By the end of it, Charles Bronson is firing off like the sidearm Gatling gun. That guy happened to come back from the war and smuggle back like a couple of ton of like Nazi firearms or whatever he's got in his closet.
And he's not even looking like you're like, oh, I don't want to like hit anyone I'm not supposed to. Like Bronson is just like firing off that fucking gun, and the guy's holding the bullets.
The guy's kind of holding the bullets. Yep.
Yeah,
it's insane.
He would have murdered like everyone around anyone.
And it's got that popular trope from like whenever they had like a gang, they were ridiculous looking. Like any street gang you would like that exist in reality. They wouldn't sit there, he's got his little makeup mark on his head, the reverse like they got this ragtag like group gang that's supposed to be so fierce. The Giggler.
Memorable
character.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Bronson sets him up when he steals his camera and pulls out that big hand cannon, blows a hole through his back.
It totally does. I love just like that old dude just that lives in that apartment. It looks like they probably shot it in the middle of like Beirut. It was just like the footage was so ridiculous, but that's canon in their sets for sure.
Oh yeah, and the premise of he comes back and the cops basically like, yeah, I know who you are. Like, listen, we could use some help. Like, basically, like, we're gonna let you go. Just promise me you'll like kill as many people as possible. Like, it's insane. And he agrees to it right away.
Yeah,
it's got one of the least believable romances. And like Charles Bronson, I love Charles Bronson, but he is like the most wooden, like with the girl. It's just there's nothing like there.
Yeah.
When she rolls down the hill in that car and like explodes, and he's just like gives this look of like, oh well, kind of like walks away. It's insane. I love it.
Yeah, he his love his romances in these Death Wish movies are so ridiculous, and he's just there to basically do his job. And man, chemistry. I mean, you just got to watch it. When you think of one had that rape scene with Jeff Goldblum, and it was pretty hardcore.
It was savage.
When you think of, I was a kid watching somebody spray paint this girl's ass cheeks, and I'm thinking like, that's really like beyond, like rape is terrible enough, and then you're gonna spray paint her ass. That's just like whoever directed that.
Shout out to Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Goldblum. 2 is pretty boring, but then once you get to 3, 4, and 5, that's where it's almost like he's just like he almost turned into Donald Pleasance at that point. Yeah, whatever. Oh, what am I doing? Like, yeah, I killed like 80 people in this movie. Sure.
I'm
no
just gonna
problem.
blow up like a fake
it's
Danny Trejo head, you know?
it's like driving in the snow and you car fishtails and they tell you don't go against it, like steer right into
Yeah.
the way you're going.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie does. It jerks the wheel and it's like, all right, this is what this is.
That's it. Yeah. So those are good movies, but 3 is the crown jewel. So Parker.
All right, man. So this is a fucking deep dive right here. So this is like a you wake up at like 2-3 a.m. as like, I don't know, maybe like 10, 12 years old, and you're clicking around like looking for that nudity movie, and then you kind of come upon this gem right here called Hamburger the Motion Picture.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah. So obviously never even released on DVD. I don't even know how I have this on VHS through media. Very nice. And I think Dick Butkus of, NFL fame is the biggest star in this. I don't think there's really anybody that made it into this movie. Pretty simple concept. It's about this guy that he's horny. He can't keep his dick in his pants. Every job, every school he has, he keeps getting thrown out of because he's banging like the guidance counselor, the principals, the cheerleaders, yada, yada, yada. So finally his parents send him to Burger University. And what this does is this trains you to open up your own burger franchise. And he goes there, and I think day one, of course, he falls in love with this chick, but she's a virgin, she's saving herself, and yada, yada, yada. And they team him up with another guy who just is horny and just wants to bang everything in sight. And he winds up hooking up with like Dick Butkus's wife and blah, blah, blah. But I guess like a silly movie, you'd call it. I mean, just really, really fucking stupid. And obviously not, none of this could actually happen in real life. But but Hamburger the Motion Picture. Yeah, three very good nudity scenes from what I remember.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We actually have to do a show on teen sex comedies of yesteryear.
Nice
deep dive.
Yeah.
Screwballs, Porkies, all those
Screwballs,
that they don't make anymore.
Yeah.
I think
Hard Bodies.
Private Resort was one with like Johnny Depp.
Spring Break. Oh, there's so
funny.
many.
Yeah. We got to rewatch them. So my pick, Toxic Avenger 1 is very cult. Everyone remembers it and they love it, and I guess they romanticize it in a bit because it was so ridiculous. That's why they're making Blair's doing the remake to it. Toxic Avenger 2 and 3 were pretty fucking terrible. But then you get to Citizen Toxie, and that's my fourth pick. This movie is probably the most batshit crazy trauma movie I've ever seen. Maybe next to like Terror Firmer, but of course Lemmy's in it, and so I think Trent Haga worked on it too, who we had on.
Right.
I guess Toxic Avenger basically goes into like like an alternate universe, and it's just one of the most ridiculous plots, but like it's just so gross, and everything in it is so ridiculous that it's just I just watch it because it's like you need to shower after watching this movie. And for anyone that watched the original, listen, if you like the original Toxic Avenger, you'll stomach this. But I feel like a lot of people like kind of tuned out after like sequel 1 and sequel 2. But Citizen Toxie, really, Hank the Angry Dwarf's on it too.
Nice.
This one righted the ship of the Toxic franchise.
It really did. It really did. Like if you want like complete over the top, like if you love trauma or you are in the mood for something just fucking vile, Toxic it's called Citizen Toxie. This is the one right here, and of course Ron Jeremy's in it too. Like, of course, definitely anyone that they could throw in there. So that's my fourth pick.
Right.
Langan, give me your last one.
All right, my last one. This is a Rolls Royce of so bad it's good films from 1987, Miami Connection.
Yeah.
I'll give you a brief. If you don't know this movie, I'll give you a brief summary. It's basically a martial arts themed rock band fights a gang of motorcycle ninjas who sell coke. So if that doesn't get your interest,
Sold.
I don't know what will. It's a cavalcade of like horrible acting. The dialogue, it's got to be the first draft of the script. It's the most verbose script I've ever read. Like they definitely did not edit anything. They were like, "Yep, that's good. First draft. Let's go. Let's shoot it."
That's a keeper.
That's a keeper. It's basically this crew of karate guys who have a band. The tie-in is that they're all orphans. Well, except one guy, but they're orphans and they're in a karate band. All their songs are taekwondo or karate themed. They dress in the gi. They'll break boards in between, like while they're playing in the band. It was actually shot in Orlando, not Miami. And who knew that there were so many ninjas running around Orlando in the 80s? But,
Yeah.
And it's got a scene that's the scene with, I don't know the name of the character, but the black dude, when he gets the letter from his father, from the Defense Department.
That's a good scene.
And he's explaining to them, and he says, "My mother was Korean and my father was Black American."
Yeah. Yeah.
That line right there kills me every fucking time.
That's a famous scene. Like you always see clips of him going to like the mailbox.
It's crazy. It's one of those movies that just, you wonder like how people making it, I'm sure they were having a good time and stuff, but like, how could you like watch the dailies and be like, this is going to be worth putting out?
That's
I'm so glad they did.
That's up there with Birdemic. Samurai Cop is another one. I mean, The Room is just bad. The Room is just bad. Like it's just bad. Like I remember when James Franco was on the Stern Show and he was talking about it. I didn't really know about it. I didn't know that this movie existed. So this was like probably within like the last 5 or 6 years I watched it, and I was by myself and I put it on. I guess I was sober and I was by myself. So I'm literally watching this movie like a normal human being. And I lasted like 20 minutes of it because there's nothing funny about it. Like Samurai Cop or the movie you just mentioned, like they're so like they're entertaining, I guess, in a way that you're like, oh, this is good. The Room is just so bad. But there's also a new movie that came out, or it's not new, but they found it somewhere and they released it, called New York Ninja. Did you watch that trailer yet?
I did see it. I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, you watched you saw the movie?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Yeah. I watched it on what's that? Cinema?
Oh, Cinema.
It's like an app.
Yeah.
It's good. The gag, it runs out a little bit it runs out of gas a little bit, but there's some funny stuff in it. Yeah.
But yeah,
but there's a charm to these kind of, like, especially like this movie. Like I know they ran out of money, and the main actor, I guess he ran a bunch of successful Taekwondo studios down there, and he put up some of his own money into it and this and that. And it's a real labor of love, and I can appreciate the charm and in that Ed Wood kind of way, There's no pretense about it. These guys wanted to make a movie.
That's
and they did.
That's important. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's important to me because, like, I think we mentioned this before, maybe not on the show, I don't know, but that's when you get something like Sharknado or like these movies that are like, it's like, oh my God, we're so bad, or like those like Sharktopus or whatever, you know what I mean? Like those, like it's like, no, I want to know that you like, it's like just that playfulness.
There can be no self-awareness.
Yeah. No,
if you're self-aware of like we're purposely making a camp movie, you can't purposely make camp. It just has to be this happy accident of shit that happens. Then it's magic when it's
captured. I want you to feel the way the director of Troll 2 did when they made that documentary. He was like, Yo, he was literally crushed. He was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, why is everyone laughing? They're like, this is not this isn't a funny movie. And you kind of feel bad for him where you're like, damn guy, like what's wrong with you? Like this movie's terrible, you know?
I'd love that documentary. I wish a lot of these other films would get that kind of treatment. I'd be all about it if there was a Miami Connection documentary. But
well, you know what I say? If it doesn't exist, then let's make it. So maybe we can put that together. All right, Parker, give me a last one.
All right, so kind of another deep one. Probably another HBO one. So this is called Real Men, starring Jim Belushi and John Ritter.
Belushi.
Yeah. So Jim Belushi's a CIA agent. John Ritter in the first, I think it's 5 or 10 seconds scenes into it, gets killed, and you're like, holy shit, that was fast. But they go looking for an exact lookalike. Somehow they find this other guy who looks exactly like the character that John Ritter was playing. And James Belushi has to track them down, and then they have to go on a trip cross country to meet aliens. So they go on this trip, and you got everything from like the KGB after them, and like the cops are after them, and all that they're trying to do is bring the aliens. They just want a clean glass of water. That's all that they were asking for. And funny shit ensues. I mean, there's one scene where they get locked in a garage, and the Russians are shooting machine guns and rocket launchers at them, and Jim Belushi creates this machine gun out of household appliances, and it's fucking hysterical. I mean, he puts nails into like a thing of band-aids and uses like he cuts a coat hanger, so the gun doesn't kick out. But just a funny 80s movie. I think it was from 87, and I've always had a soft spot for Jim Belushi.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I love, being a big fan of John Ritter because I love Three's Company. So anything John Ritter was in, I would want to watch, whether it was Real Men, Problem Child, Stay Tuned, right? Was he in that?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So everything he did, just coincidentally, Karen was watching this Netflix show, Raising Dion. And one of the main characters is Jason Ritter. And to me, I don't even care. I'm like, his dad that
yeah.
I'm like, that's fucking John Ritter's son, man. Like, that's so cool. That's just Three's Company was just what I grew up watching, man. I love that. So
Furley or Roper.
Wow. Furley or Roper. I guess I gotta go Furley. But I liked Mrs. Roper too.
Yeah.
So like Miss Roper could get it. You know what I mean? Like she was definitely DTF, but she could like get it. 'Cause she was just like, I mean, how old could she have been back then? Probably like 50.
She's probably
right?
younger than we are now.
Yeah.
Like, I find that with like everything I watch. I'm like, man, that's so. I'm like, oh, he's like 42 years old. Jesus Christ! Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, Mrs. Roper definitely could have gotten it. But Furley was a little bit exaggerated, but I don't know. Like, and to this day, I still say Furley lines and no one knows. Like he would eat something. Or no, he would drink something and he would just go smooth, right? Like anything that was too strong for him, right? And then when they would go, shout out to the Regal Beagle.
Yeah.
But also he would say escargots, which I always say. I'm like, I'll take some escargots. I don't know why that's so funny. I love that show. All right, so my last pick is a movie that I've been talking about. Blue in the face style, and everyone's just gonna be like, shut the fuck up about this movie. But that's the whole point of this episode, and I'm sure we'll invite people on to do this again because I still have about 10 or 15 other movies on this list. Yep. Return of the Living Dead 3. I'm gonna go to bat for it again. Did you guys ever end up watching it again recently or not?
I watched it before we did the Usna episode.
Okay, so what did you think again? Now that he's not on?
I don't think I loved it as much as you did. I didn't.
Why though?
Like the. I don't know.
What is it about it though?
I remembered it being better than I thought it was when it first came out. Okay. When I did rewatch it, I will say that. I guess it just didn't grab me as much as the other ones.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not a good movie. Yeah. It's really not. It's just not a good movie whatsoever. It's fucking stupid. But what I love about it is just the gore. Anthony Hickok.
It's got great gore.
It's got great practical effects. And that's what it is. Like you see like the adventure that they go on. And also we never mentioned that the guy from Marked for Death, the Seagal movie, Screwface was in this movie. And never put that together, like Screwface was the guy in this movie. And at the end, it's just complete nonsense. But like you get like I don't know, everything about it. Like the beginning of the movie where they get that homeless dude to fucking like, the zombie, and everything about it was just gross. And the practical effects, that's what the movie was to me, really. It was just like a series of violence.
Yeah.
And that dude Sal Lopez is in it, which I wish I can get him on the show. But Parker, did you ever rewatch it?
I saw it recently, and I mean, it's not that I don't think that it's not a good movie.
It's not, but it just
I think it's very like Bride of Frankenstein-ish, like with that, how they're like trying to make her into the zombie. Like with me, like I remember I saw the first one, and like the first one, like when I was a little kid, was always like the scary one, which I look back now and I'm like, what the hell was I afraid of? The second one, funny enough, was always the one, though, that kind of had a soft spot in my heart. And I know a lot of people hate the second one, too, which is kind of funny.
The kid.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But just like I loved, like, the main two guys, just how they're like, they keep touching on like, haven't we done this before? Like, I feel like we've been here. Like, I love that shit.
Yeah. But it's a standalone movie though. Not even, because if you compare it to those two, it's not even in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
It's just this standalone movie that's just so fucking violent and ridiculous, and it smells like straight to video. That's why I love it. Like I hated it. I fucking thought it was the worst movie ever. After watching part 1 and 2, I'm like, this fucking movie sucks. There's only one zombie and it's a girl, and what the fuck am I watching? But like everything about it, even the ending, like they die. It's just, I don't know, man.
She was fine too.
Yeah, and she still does shit. I see her on Instagram. I'm just like, remember Return of the Living Dead 3? So
come on the show.
I go to bat for this movie all the time, and it's just listening to you two guys not really connecting with it. I
will say, like you said, when it first came out, I wasn't feeling it at all. But when I did rewatch it before using the I don't hold it as I know you like it a lot more than I do, but it was a lot better than I remembered it. I had way more fun with it, probably because I was just watching it as a standalone movie.
Yeah.
As opposed to seeing it after these other films, what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't even, there's no connection really, except for the canister.
The title.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So, but, all right, cool. Yeah. So those are 5 movies that none of us picked, the same.
No.
We didn't have
I had a couple on a list I won't even mention because I was like, Parker's gonna say that one. I'm leaving that one.
They might still be in the bag, man, for future episodes. You never know.
We can do this probably a million times a year. So I'm just leaving all those.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So all right, cool.
On the paper here.
So hopefully anyone that listens to this will check out one of those movies.
Get those movies, get a significant other, make her watch it, make her or him watch it.
Totally.
If you want to break up or something.
Yeah, just in time for Valentine's Day. If you want to basically
bring home Flash Gordon to your wife on Valentine's Day and be like, this is what we're doing tonight.
Or Real Men. Actually, you know what? I did pick a Valentine's Day movie. It was Return of the Living Dead 3, so it is kind of romantic.
All right. That's good. Seasonal, topical.
So, all right, cool. So I'm out. I'm going to go eat dinner.
All right.
Later.